I'm just curious, like you said, like there's some data, but then there's lots missing. So I'm just curious, like why, if this has been connected for like months, why would there be no data? Maybe I connected it wrong. And that's when you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it months? So it'd be like a month? Have we been how long?
I've
Oh, I
had
guess almost 2 months. Oh my
I've
God.
actually had GA4 set up prior to even our course. And I think maybe that's my issue is that I did it as a total, let's just give it a go.
Yeah, good for you
Uh,
though.
yeah,
So maybe
that's
that's why. So like on the homepage, some of the info is missing. Like obviously it says here you said 1 minute, so that's decent. But so country and stuff is fine, but like insights is missing.
Oh, okay. So yes, what this is, it's basically they just don't have enough data. So the insights tab, it
So
needs a lot of data. That's
okay,
why like the demo account has is fun to play with because you saw that there's 100,000 visitors to their
yeah,
website. So there's
sure.
a ton of data for them to work with and find patterns. AI tools aren't very good with small data sets. If it's only a couple hundred people, they're not good.
Okay, got it. So that's also then why it's not showing me gender or like any of these insights is just because I have a small business and obviously our budget for ads isn't that big. So is that kind of why? Like,
Yeah, it's the number of users and also things about gender and age are they're hiding a little bit more with or they're not as prevalent, just the nature of how the ad system and their data collection is working these days.
got it. Cause yeah, obviously
Okay.
I was looking here and figuring out what are the best pages so that I can keep optimizing those pages as best as
Yeah.
possible. So yeah, that's what I was wondering. But it seems like now it's showing, whereas
Yeah.
before it wasn't. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, that looks really good.
Let's check out your events while we're here. So under engagement, the events. So events and conversions failing. Can you actually explain the difference between them?
Yeah, so the events are like the cornerstone of how the system works. So everything that happens, whether you visit a page, whether you click on a box, whether you spend more than 10 seconds on a page, those are all events that have parameters about them, like where did they come, like things like where do they come from, what device are they on, all those things about that one event get trapped into Google Analytics 4 here. And then what can happen is say you go or here, I'm going to share my screen if you don't mind. So in the configure, this is the daybreak. So you see here that it's got like the number of events that have changed. And then it also says you can mark it as a conversion. So you could say that, say you have a specific click that you've set up, like a mail to link click we would have. And so that's like when someone clicks on the little or a tell link. So their phone number at the top, they click that to call you. You want to track that because that means business. And so that's one where it would be tell link clicked would probably be the event name. And then you would mark it as a conversion because that really matters to the business. How many phone calls am I getting? And so these events can be turned into conversions. And then once
And you
they're
can see
conversion,
that. Did you see that on the right-hand side? It said mark
yeah.
as a conversion. So for this client, because I think the download file, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh yeah, yeah, you're
is
right.
should be turned on because they're downloading a wholesale and then I
Oh no, this one is the community docs. Remember, they're doing the community engagement stuff.
okay.
Those are the
So
files that are getting downloaded.
interesting. So maybe we want to turn that off for now and talk to the client.
Oh, no,
But
they do want that. They want to because they want that as a metric to then go to City Hall to say, "Hey, this many people had downloaded our thing. They're showing
can you
community
rename it
engagement."
here?
It's marked as an NPA, which NPAs are the personalization stuff. So it's about non-personalized advertising. I think is what they're referring to there. So
So the main
uh,
difference between Google Analytics, the Universal, and the GA4 is that you had to set up all of these things as conversions yourself or as events yourself and track them. So out of the box, they're doing a lot of things. However, like if you want to see if people scroll all the way down the page or halfway down the page, you would set up your own event tracking for that. For instance, I think they have a video play is one of the existing events out of the box, but a lot of people want to retarget, which is show ads to people who have visited their site or watched 25, 50, 75%, or 100% of their video. And so this is going to give us a
I'm
lot
just gonna
more information out of the box. However, we're also going to want to be able to make our own what we're tracking as conversions, which we are slowly going to learn about and practice throughout doing this in our course.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to show you guys so if you go to the admin section and you click on data streams and then you click on this data stream. So what we're doing here is you can see what they're measuring out of the box: file downloads, video engagement, site search, outbound links, scroll 90%, and view. They don't say that it's 90%, but I went to the documentation.
So you can click on and off the cog over to the right-hand side, and you can say, I don't want to track page views or scroll depth, and you can turn them off.
Yeah. And it also has these turn them off, and they also have little descriptions of what's going on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Super fun. Everybody, you're like, yeah, Google Analytics. The reality is that if you start to play around and get used to this, you are going to be ahead of 90% of people who work online, because this is new and we are being forced to use it. But if you wait to the last minute to change over or learn about it, it won't help you. In a year or two from now, this is going to be second nature. For now, you're going to be well ahead of the curve.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why we're starting small. You just want to focus on use the source medium. And that's a big one that you want to be paying attention to. And then we'll be going through how to do conversions and setting that up using Tag Manager. So don't worry, we'll be covering that part. Just get used to very much the source medium sections in the acquisition tab. That's the bread and butter of where you want to be looking at analyzing your data, and start there. Honestly, even in the old analytics, pretty much the acquisition tab was pretty much the only place I really like. There was a source and medium under acquisition was the only place I really looked in the old UA, because to me, that was the most important part. Where's the traffic coming from? What's converting the most? Who's spending the most time and not converting? These are all questions that I wanted to know about. And so that's where I would spend most of my time. Is also, I would avoid the acquisition overview, because much like the snapshot, it will overwhelm. I find it very overwhelming. Whereas like the user acquisition or the traffic acquisition are a little more granular, and it has a little simpler, so you can really start to dig in.
In the end, we're going to learn, hey, I did Facebook advertising. Did it work? Hey, I'm doing Google ads. Is it bringing me more traffic? Is that traffic doing what I want? Because you can, if you figure out what people are doing along their journey, for instance, if you're doing Google ads and then nobody's clicking on the ad, it means there's something wrong with your ad. If you do Google ads and people click on the ads and they go to your website, but they're not making a phone call or clicking on the mail to link, then either your tracking hasn't been set up or you have to change something on your web page. So we get little signals along the way telling us, hey, we need to improve this or that. On most websites, you're going to see the homepage gets the most traffic. The second page that usually gets the most traffic is the about page. So we know that most people go from the homepage to the about page and then over to the services.
Yeah, that's the general. Of course, it's a little different with e-commerce because they're different. But
Or
yeah,
when you have a
definitely.
wicked awesome blog post that gets half your traffic.